Okay, well, my laptop just flipped over to 5:30. So
Yeah.
shall we go ahead and get started? Okay, awesome. So I apologize, but I'm actually going to read my script. It's over on the other screen over here. So I'm not going to look directly at the camera, but I want to be sure that I say what I have planned to say. So welcome this evening. We are the local League of Women Voters, part of the United States, a national, nonpartisan, nonprofit organization whose purpose is to promote the informed and active participation of citizens in government. We welcome both men and women. I want to underscore the primary tenet of our organization, nonpartisanship. In the 101 years since we were established, we have never endorsed a candidate or a political party at any level of government. We are ardent about positions, not about people. It's sometimes confusing, however, because after a formal study process, we do often take positions on issues. We are truly grateful and impressed by those of you who are participating in tonight's forum. To the candidates for your willingness and courage to run for office, to the audience for your involvement in the democratic process, to the local league members who expend a great deal of energy and time to make these forums fair and informative. And a very special thank you to North Olympic Library System, who's playing the great and powerful Oz in the background, making sure all of the technical things are going smoothly. So I would like to now introduce to you Bertha Cooper, who is the moderator for this evening's forum. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Rebecca, and good evening to everyone. Yes, I am Bertha Cooper, and I will be moderating this evening's forum. I'm a member of the League of Women Voters, and I live in Sequim. I'll start too by thanking North Olympic Library System, known as NOLS, especially Sarah Morrison, our technical wizard, for making it possible for our league to hold virtual forums and record them so as many as possible can view it in the future. In the next few days, we'll have a link of the recording on the league's website, which is lwvcla.org. I also want to thank Bonnie Bliss Bainish, another technical wizard, for creating a virtual timing system that allows us to alert candidates when their time to speak is ending. In a few minutes, she'll explain the timing system to the candidates. I want to welcome all and any who click in on these forums tonight and in the future. The League of Women Voters allows candidates to reach a large audience. These candidates want you to hear from them. We have two presentations today. The first presentation will be the two contested races for Port Angeles School Board positions 1 and 2. The second forum will be the 4 contested races for Port Angeles City Council positions 1, 2, 3, and 4 of 7 city council positions. All council members are elected at large, meaning all voters within the city limits vote on all council seats. I want to extend a special welcome to our candidates. We're happy you're here. We congratulate all of you for running for an elected office and wish all of you the best of luck. I'm asking candidates and all of you who clicked in to hear the candidates to mute your mics so that we can avoid background noise interruptions. If you happen to forget to mute and your dog starts barking, Sarah will mute your mic for you. Thank you for anything you can do to help us manage Zoom. Before we start, I want to tell you about another opportunity to learn the view of candidates in addition to forums. The State League of Women Voters provides the website vote411.org as a resource to the voting public so they can be informed voters. Starting October 1st, you can go to vote411.org and you will see what's on the ballot, including candidates' answers to questions on important issues. It's a chance to learn the candidates' views before voters fill out their ballots. All candidates are given an opportunity to answer the most pressing questions in their community in their own words. The 411.org platform ensures that all candidate views are accurately represented. On vote411.org, you can also check your voter registration and you can learn about upcoming forums in your area. On our website, you will find, among general information, the League's position on issues that Rebecca mentioned earlier, and our tribe brochure, which lists all of your elected officials at the local, state, and local, state, and national levels with their contact information. You may also pick up a more current, this happens to be 2017, it's the only one I could find, that you can pick up the current one at the public library. It's our intention to be even-handed in our treatment of all candidates, so we provide structures such as using the filing dates for order upon which we call candidates and establishing time limits for answers so every candidate had the same opportunity. Candidates have 2 minutes each for opening remarks and 1 minute for closing remarks. Candidates have 1 minute each to answer questions. Now, since we are virtual, I am going to ask Bonnie Bliss Banish to explain the limits and the way in which we help candidates keep to the limits. Bonnie.
So when you are speaking, you will always see the timer screen in front of you. Bertha will ask you a question. As soon as each candidate starts answering, I will push the timer and you'll see a countdown. The countdown starts purple, and as long as it stays purple, that means that you still have plenty of time going. It will then turn yellow. That means you should probably start wrapping up. And then finally, it will turn red and say stop. If you're in the middle of a sentence, go ahead and just finish what you're saying. And then once it gets to the red, like it will right now, then I will toggle it back to my timer screen. And that's how the timing works. Thanks, Bertha.
Okay. A final reminder, the views expressed here are always those of the candidates and not of the sponsors of candidate forums. All right, now for our first forum, I will introduce 2 candidates for position 1 and 1 candidate for position 2 on the Port Angeles School Board. Candidates will be called in order of filing for opening remarks and in reverse order for closing remarks. The school board consists of 5 members and is the governing body of the school district. The term of office is 4 years. Key functions of the school board, according to policy 1005, are responsible governance, creating conditions for student and staff success, high expectations for student learning, accountability for student learning, and community engagement. The candidates were asked to introduce themselves in a 2-minute or less opening statement by covering the following points. What are your qualifications for this office? How do you intend to deal with the key issues confronting your area of responsibility? And what is the primary goal you hope to accomplish during your first year in office? So first we'll do candidates for position 1 for the school board. Lola Moses, please unmute, and you have 2 minutes. Please unmute. Good.
First of all, thank you for the invitation. My name is Lola Moses. I'm running for Port Angeles School Board Position 1. I have been a lifelong resident of Port Angeles, Washington. I'm also an enrolled member of the Laurel-Wacquallum tribe. I've been very active in the community, in the school district. I served on the school district, multi-ethnic committee. I've also served on Clallam County Juvenile Drug Court. I have had many director positions. I have experience managing state grants, federal grants. I have managed tribal funding. I've done fundraisers in the community. I hope to have a strong impact and be a voice for students and families in Port Angeles. And I am a mother of three. I have three children that attend school in Port Angeles School District. Tatum attends high school. Mackenzie attends middle school at Stevens, and my littlest one is a Dry Creek Dragon. All three of schools that I've attended as a lifelong resident of Port Angeles. I also went to school at Peninsula College and graduated there. I played basketball there for a year, and then I went to Washington State University, where I completed a BA in criminal justice and a BA in sociology. But I know that I have all of the leadership qualities that would be able to be a successful candidate to serve. I want to serve the community in a good way, and I want to strengthen our school system, continue to strengthen what has been established, but also I have new ideas, and I want to have the support of the community and also have their voice be heard at the table. I have a lot of different things that I'll bring to the community, and I know that I'm able to be open-minded and listen, but also support a system that is always changing with all of our current challenges. We have so many challenges that we're facing as a community, but I know that I will be supportive and be able to be open-minded to learn and also to support our superintendent and the growth of our school district as a whole. Thank you. Thank you to those that are running.
Sarah Messner, please unmute, and you have 2 minutes.
Terrific. Thank you. And thanks for having me at this debate today. These forums, in my opinion, are the surest way to promote democracy and let candidates hear what everyone else's concerns are. So if this past year has taught us anything, it is how vital public school is. Our economy, our country screeched to a halt as soon as we took kids out of school. Parents couldn't go to work. Kids weren't getting necessarily the education that they needed. So my main goal has been, and will continue to be, keeping kids in school. Our district has implemented systems that absolutely are working at this point. And we have strict rules. We're listening to the health directives coming from the city, the state, and following those rules, which is keeping kids as safe as possible in this rather challenging time. Some just back history on me. I have had 4 kids go through the Port Angeles School District. My 4 kids, one graduated in 15, 16, 19, and 20. So I'm not that far removed from having kids in school. And people ask, why did you move to Port Angeles? What was so great about Port Angeles? The school district was the first thing we looked at, and it has met our standards, and our children are doing very well off in colleges and such. Some highlights since I started on the school board, which is now 12 years, our graduation rates have increased. We're now in the low 90s. That's over 20% since I started. We have grown our career and technical education service offerings. We've also increased our college and the high school offerings. Kids are able now to get their needs met for further in college within high school. I want to continue this work. I think I've done a great job, and I will bring the experience to this position that I think is needed at this time.
Candidate for position number 2, candidate Gabby Johnson had accepted our invitation to be present, and we learned last week that she would be unable to attend. She was offered the option of a substitute to give opening and closing statements on her behalf. We are giving Mary Hebert the opportunity to answer questions. Mary Hebert, please unmute. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. And I'm running for position 2. I'm passionate about quality education. And I've had 34 years of experience in teaching and administration that has given me valuable experiences. And I'm ready and prepared to have a new role as a school board member. These are unprecedented times that call for actions that support our students, our staff, and our community. I'm prepared to jump into this role and am committed to use my expertise and positive experiences to contribute to the Port Angeles School District. With 34 years, I have a lot of experience and opportunities, but I think I'd like to share this quote first. No one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And as a teacher and a principal over time, it has been my experience that the relationships that you begin with are far more valuable than all of your college time, all of the work that you've done. It's important that people know that you care about them and most especially about their students. I care, and my history in the district and the programs I've implemented speak to my commitment and to my values. As assistant superintendent, I had the opportunity to create and begin the discussion about full day kindergarten. And it was during my time that I was able to implement that, and what a difference it made. I also worked with the teacher union after our mills closed and we had to downsize the district. So that was important work in collaboration with the union. So I've been here to problem solve solutions, make difficult decisions, and maintain
Mary, you need to
programs
finish your sentence.
that make a difference in our community. Thank you.
And thank you, candidates. Now we'll go on to questions. Questions come from those submitted to the league website and those that were submitted directly to me. Not surprisingly, similar questions were submitted in similar areas of interest. I have developed the questions to reflect those that were submitted and organized them into 4 categories. Those categories are pandemic related, curriculum related, safety, and the future. So we'll start with pandemic related. And the first question, Lola, I will call on you first for a response to the question. COVID and the limitations resulted in reduced or little in-person learning last school year. In-person learning has returned. Are you satisfied the school district is doing enough and effectively monitoring its own policies to keep children safe? Unmute, Lola, and you have 1 minute.
Yes, I'd have to agree that the school district is doing the very best job that they can to safeguard the school and the students and the staff as well. We have to think about the students and the staff and keeping them safe and providing a safe environment for everyone to learn. When we were closed down, it was very difficult for kids to learn, and I was proud of what the school district did, but to be in person is amazing. My kids had some mental health challenges, not being able to be in front of their teacher with their their classmates in a classroom learning. And so I believe this is the best opportunity for our kids in Port Angeles School District to learn, is to be in person. So we need to do whatever it takes to make it a successful, safe learning environment. And I'm in full support of what's being done right now, and keeping our minds open to make sure that we're following all the protocols and guidelines that are set in today's world. Thank you.
Sarah Messner, please unmute, and you have 1 minute.
Thank you. I believe our school district, no, I know our school district has done a phenomenal job of implementing safety measures. We have also, in addition to our regular ones that we had last year with the distancing and the masking, we've now added COVID testing. We have a data dashboard where parents and community members can go check and see what schools might be having some problems. We have immediate responses, and we have a matrix that you can absolutely follow. If my child has a sniffle, what does that mean? How long does my child have to quarantine? We have nurses at every single school, which is something that really comes out of our levy dollars. And it is something that we have absolutely stayed true to make sure that every school has an actual nurse who can help parents making these hard decisions. We also have Seaview Academy, which is available now for any child who doesn't feel comfortable being in our public schools.
Mary Hebert, please unmute. You have 1 minute.
Thank you. I think that Sarah did a great job of covering a lot of those specifics that are in place and working well. So I'm going to move to, when we talk about keeping students safe, what does that include? And I look at mental health, behavior, and maintaining a safe learning environment. And I have 2 grandchildren in the public schools, and I am very aware of the adjustments that they've made to keep our students safe, and especially to get fresh air. And so they're having lunch outside, they're opening windows. And at the last school board meeting I attended, I learned a fun fact that is really important because I see on television a lot about the quality of air in our schools. So our schools are a safe place to be, every one of them. We have air that is turned over 100% on an average of every 6 to 8 times per hour. We're doing well.
Second question, and that will start with Mary Hebert. Concern has been expressed about the so-called last year of learning. Do you agree there needs to be concern? And if you do, should there be special programs or counseling for students? You have 1 minute.
The last year of school that the students had was really broken up between having, they started with some time in school, then out, and then a hybrid, and there was learning loss. And the district is taking a lot of steps to bring students up to standard, but also they're taking students where they are. And that's a critical step in any learning strategy. They are also having tutoring. They have extra counselors. So they're providing all those necessary components for students learning to go from where they are now. And they've also implemented different responses for different needs of our students. So it was learning loss, it's being addressed, and they have some innovative programs to offer.
Sarah Messner, please unmute, and you have 1 minute.
Thank you. As Mary said, we do have, the learning loss was not insignificant. The only thing that lets me sleep at night regarding that is that learning loss is countrywide. It's not as though the Port Angeles School District students are having learning loss that the rest of the country didn't also suffer. So yeah, we know that it's a problem, and we want to get our kids as close to back to where they were as we can. We have tutoring in place. We have AmeriCorps working on this. We have paid out of our levy again a counselor in every single school. I mean, every single school. We also have, to add on to what Mary was saying, we've also partnered with North Olympic Health Network, and they're going to be bringing their, once it's ready, their medical bus, which is also going to offer higher level mental health counseling to each of our students. So we're doing what we can to get kids back where they need to be.
Lola Moses, you have 1 minute, and please unmute.
Thank you. As a parent of 3 students, I've been really impressed with what we've tried to do in a challenging time. COVID is so challenging, and there's so many ways that we've tried to be innovative, and we've tried to learn from what has happened, and we're trying to bring our students up to speed, not only in the schools, not only in the classroom, I mean, but also their social and emotional skills and how they cope with what we've been through as a country and a nation and a world. We're in a pandemic, and so we've done the very best we can, and there's always opportunity to learn and grow. And I believe in our school district. I believe in our teachers and the staff, and all of the programs that were mentioned already are currently up and running. And so I'm so thankful that our students have all these resources. and we continue to try to learn and offer different programs and strengthen our school system as a whole, because that's what we need to do, is come together and be open-minded and be able to make the positive changes to get our students up to speed and help them. Thank you.
Okay, you can stay there, Lola. You will
Okay.
answer me first on the next question. And this came from a former teacher who is particularly concerned with the number of students, high school especially, who are not returning to school. She asked, do they slip through the cracks? They lose motivation? Did they move to another town? How should the district address the problem of students who didn't return? Lola, you have 1 minute.
This is an excellent question. And we have these challenges at Laura Elwha. I served on the education committee for Laura Elwha, and I've also been a part of collaborative teams in the community. And I've also reached out to students who've come to me in the community as a whole and just ask questions. But I think that we do need to be concerned about the students that have not returned, but we do need to look at these other opportunities of learning and make sure that they're not utilizing a different CView Academy, or hopefully we need to work together to find out how they're doing and how we can get them back into school if they're not into school, and possibly even encourage, running start. They may feel that they've fallen behind in credits if they weren't participating at their full capacity. So these are some of the challenges that we face as a school district, and to make sure that we offer all the opportunities and the knowledge that they can catch up and they can be successful and graduate still, and make sure we explore all their opportunities. Thank you.
Sarah Mester, please unmute, and you have 1 minute.
Okay, so I believe the question was, we've lost so much enrollment. How do we recapture those students?
It was particularly about the students who didn't return. It wasn't framed in enrollment. It was about the students.
So we did lose quite a number of kids last year. No question about that. And there was some amount of, were they going to school? Were they coming regularly and checking in on their Zoom? So those measures have needed to be tightened up and have been. In addition, we have reclaimed 160 of those kids are back in our schools this year. We also, with the offering of CView Academy, that has brought us even higher enrollment, which now has gone to statewide. We're capturing kids from all over the state, are now able to come to our school district and get their educational needs met. So again, those kids that we lost track of, many have moved out of state, or they moved to, very few actually completely disappeared. Now, I'm not going to say that nobody actually disappeared, because there were some kids that we completely lost, and we are finding them. And that's just where we're focused at, is recapturing as much of our enrollment as we possibly can.
Mary Hebert, please unmute. You have 1 minute.
Thank you. It is always a concern when we don't have students return, and we need to find where they are, and we need to explore continually options for students that will bring them back to the school. We've done a great innovative job in creating CView Academy, and that helped. We're also having college classes in the high school. So if there are students who are wanting an alternative, that's a great alternative for students who would like to have additional challenges. So I think we always have to look at both ends of the spectrum, as well as students who just are getting lost within the system. And that's a great plan for counselors to reach out and look for our students so that we can meet their needs and we can have accommodations that will interest them in school, and bringing them back, accepting them where they are. Thank you.
Okay, next we're going to move to the area of curriculum. And I will be directing this question first to Sarah Methner. The question is, legislatures across the country are passing laws to satisfy constituents that declare what can and cannot be included in the teaching of a variety of subjects. Such laws may fail to consider what our students need to know in order to compete in the 21st century. If a law was passed that you believed was not in the best interest of your students, what would you do? Sarah Mether, you have 1 minute.
Such an interesting question because the school board is unfortunately often constrained by what happens in the legislature. We're not completely islands unto ourselves. If you ask me what I think about those laws, that's a little different answer, which is I believe teachers are professionals. I believe that teachers know what subject matter students need to learn. And I firmly believe that our kids, when exposed to unfettered curricula, will thrive and it prepares them better for life. So anytime, and fortunately our legislature has not fallen to this sort of behavior. I don't believe that they will. I believe that our state is very willing to allow teachers to teach and to decide what kids need to learn. And so I'm in full support of leaving it to our very well-trained faculty.
Lola Moses, you have 1 minute. Please unmute.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me? I'm sorry.
Huh?
Yes.
Fine, good.
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry, I just cut.
Sure, it's about legislatures across the country passing laws to satisfy constituents that may not always meet the needs of the students. If such laws were passed that you did not believe that met the needs of the students, what would you do?
Thank you. I appreciate that. I definitely believe in our staff and our we don't have any control over what is passed. We do have control over supporting our staff and supporting our schools. And so I think that hopefully, I believe in the schools and the teachers and the way they instruct our students. And I support the school and the different schools and the staff and how they approach all the different curriculums that we are working with right now. But I'm not sure that we might have much control as a school board other than to support the curriculum that we are running through our schools in Port Angeles. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Mary Hebert, please unmute and you have 1 minute.
Thank you. I do believe that curriculum is a local level decision. And I think that the important part that we play as a school board is that we reflect the community's wishes. I understand that if a decision is made and at the state level and a curriculum is mandated, I think that it takes away the interests of our community and is not the way to continue, but we have to live within that framework. I believe that as a school board member, it's important for us to know community beliefs. It's important for us to respond and go through the process, because even within a mandate, there are a variety of curriculum and ways to view things. And I trust the process that we have in our policies to be able to discern the best path to follow in our district.
The next question I will direct first to you, Mary, so you
Okay.
on the other hand, our state legislators passed laws requiring age-appropriate sexual health education be taught. Some parents are very unhappy with this requirement. So what is the role of the school board in resolving conflicts like that?
Our district was ahead of that movement, and we have already chosen curriculum that is age appropriate. And that went through the process. And I feel that at any point, if a parent is concerned, they're welcome to review the material, and they can choose to have their student taken from either a particular unit or part of the curriculum that they would like to experience with their own child and not have it be something taught in school. The schools get into a difficult position, and it is true that Many parents aren't comfortable teaching certain subjects, and it seems that those are often loaded into the classrooms because they know that teachers will, can, and are diligent about teaching those subject areas. So we can't continue to add on to curriculum in schools if it belongs in the home.
Lola Moses, unmute, and you have 1 minute.
As a mother, my daughters, I have 3 daughters, and 2 of my daughters are already experienced this curriculum. And when I was notified as a parent, I wanted to know more about it. And I am thankful that there's an opportunity to learn more about the curriculums that are being taught in our school district. It's important to be a part of an active parent in your students' learning, but also I'm open-minded, and I also work with my children, and I try to teach them on every opportunity possible. So I appreciate the supports that are in place, but I also appreciate the opportunity to be able to ask more about the curriculum that's being taught, and having a, if I had concerns, I would be able to share those. And as a school board member, I believe that I would be a supportive school board member and be able to support the school, but also remember that parents and families also have to have a voice at these tables, and it's important to have an open mind and be there for this community as well and the families. Thank you.
We have time for one more question, and then we'll do closing remarks. And that question will be first directed to Sarah Methner. And the question is, what can the school board do to reduce the risk of gun violence in our school and among our students? Sarah, you have 1 minute.
It's a very difficult question for what we can do at a granular level. We really are going to have to, it has to be, this really is a national question. But in terms of how do we keep kids safe locally, unfortunately, we continue to do safe student drills, and kids know where they go in case there's an active shooter situation in these drills. Our buildings, we are looking to update our buildings, and the town was very kind and voted in our last capital levy. So we're going to be able to bring and harden Stevens Middle School, and it's going to just be steps from there. Our high school, anybody who's been to our high school knows that it is a not the safest place. We train our staff, we train our students, and anybody who just lived through the most recent bomb scare knows that our staff is very well trained on how to keep kids safe. It was a very impressive effort, and unfortunate that it had to even happen. This is too big a question to be able to answer this quickly. I apologize.
Lola Moses, you have 1 minute. Please unmute.
Thank you. We have been blessed that we haven't had to deal with this type of tragedy, but I do believe that our staff is trained and will continue to become trained. I worked in a police department, I worked in the court system, so I understand the need to collaborate and work together as a community with the local law enforcement, with the emergency services. I know that the schools and the community would come together, but I do think that continuing to train and being prepared is the best that we can do as a community, and being prepared for any situation. And I was thankful how it was handled, the bomb threat, and the safety that was provided to the kids, and being able to be removed from campus, and also the staff, keeping the staff off campus and keeping the staff safe as well. I felt like it was an effort that was solid from our community and our staff and the school district. But I think that we continue to plan, continue to train, and be prepared, and keep our kids safe in school. And thank you.
Mary Hebert, you are unmuted. Please, you have 1 minute.
Bertha, could you please repeat the question? for me?
Sure. He says, what can the school board do to reduce the risk of gun violence in our schools and among students?
I think that to reduce the risk, we can do and continue to do what has been done in terms of making our buildings as secure and safe as possible. But we do have a very open campus in many places. And as we continue to update our buildings, hopefully that can be mitigated in some ways. But I think the other part is being very conscious of counseling, mental health, responding quickly to bullying and those behaviors that we know can escalate a situation and create harmful situations. So caring for each other, caring for students' mental health, teachers, staff, being aware of anything that appears to be bullying so that we're constantly in check with our students' mental health and behaviors so that if anything can be prevented by our action, that will happen.
All right. Thank you, candidates. You've been very responsive to the questions asked by the PA public. It's time for us to move to closing comments. I invite each candidate to make a 1-minute closing, starting in reverse order. Mary Hebert, you have 1 minute.
Thank you. It has been my privilege to serve as a teacher and administrator in our schools, and I've been blessed to serve in this community that I was raised in. I've been attending school board meetings for many years, and since the primary election, I've attended school board meetings to prepare to make a smooth transition into this position if I am elected. I'm prepared for this work, and it is my passion, and most importantly, I care. I care about our students and their success. And in this new role, I will have the opportunity to look at our mission to create learning communities that prepare each student to live, work, and learn successfully in a changing world. And it certainly is. And the vision or the ideal future that all Port Angeles students will graduate prepared for lifelong learning. I care about those goals. I care about our mission. And most importantly, I care about our students. Thank you.
Sarah Messner, you have 1 minute. Please unmute.
Well, thank you everyone for coming and listening to us blather on. I just would like to say that I have been doing this job now for 12 years, and I almost now feel like I know what I'm doing. This is an enormous job, and I don't know that right now is a good time to completely change the way the ship is moving. I think we're doing the right things right now. I think we have I know that we have systems in place that are working. We have board members who are together and know what they're doing and working. And I just would ask that people give a little credence to the fact that doing something for a long time might make that how to do it. So if I'm not reelected, the longest serving board member would be 6 years, which is not a lot of time. And I think right now and where we are in life right now, we need experience. Thank you.
Lola Moses, you have 1 minute. Please unmute.
Thank you for this opportunity today. I appreciate being able to be present and sharing this opportunity with my opponent, also with the other candidate. And I really appreciate everyone that's running for office. Thank you for your dedication. I really want to make a difference in the community. I've always been an active member of our Port Angeles area and community, and I'm passionate about families, school, education, supporting what has been built, but also being innovative and moving forward. And I am very qualified to be in this position. I'm a mother of 3 beautiful girls, and I know a lot of the Port Angeles area and community, and I've supported and coached a lot of the kids in the Port Angeles area, which has been a huge blessing. But I volunteered time in the school district and also different schools and attended a lot of the activities that happen in our community. And I'm thankful to be a part of Port Angeles and a lifelong resident. And I hope the very best for your vote and your support on November 2nd. But thank you for this opportunity today. Hottenson, thank you.
And thank you, candidates. Thank you for your participation tonight. And again, your willingness to commit to serving your community as an elected official. We appreciate you all.